Good morning to all my friends and welcome to Jim's 5am Club. And this morning I come to you from the magnificent location here on the mid-north coast of New South Wales. I'm up at Port Stephens and I've just walked to the top of Mount Tomaree. It's a beautiful spring morning and as you can see the sky is pink. The full moon is still out and it's going to be a glorious sunrise. So let's go position ourselves and have a walk and talk and a chat about whatever topic comes into our head at the time. Last night I drove up by myself. Paula and the girls were already up here, so I got in the car, but a lot of traffic along the way. But I eventually got here. I missed the moonrise last night, but thank God my daughters and granddaughter got round to Zenith Beach and got to enjoy a magnificent performance where the pink moon came out of the ocean where the sun normally comes up and turned into a magnificent Cellini. Anyway, here we are and we're greeted by a glorious East Coast sunrise. There's nothing better than capturing the magic of an East Coast sunrise in Australia. As we've said time and time again, Greece, Santorini has magnificent sunsets, but when it comes to sunrises, nothing, and I repeat, nothing can come close to the glory of the East Coast of Australia. Anyway, let's keep on walking and position ourselves and chat away. Anyway, today I want to talk about a topic which is near and dear to my heart, and the topic I'm going to chat to you about today is how we do things on automatic pilot. As you can see over there, we've got the platform with all the people enjoying that magnificent, beautiful, awesome sunrise. But I've come out here to my little secret location, which I discovered years ago. So I never want to do things like everybody else. I always want to add my little touch to it, and my little touch makes it a plus 10 experience. As you can see here, let me just show you. We've got the sun rising there in the east, and if I swing round 180 degrees, I've got the moon over that side setting. But last night at 6:14, the moon was rising over there where the sun is now rising. So just so you know, the moon rises where the sun rises and sets usually where the sun sets, or at least that's my observation. I could be wrong and I'm open to being corrected. Anyway, let's go a few more meters further over. If you hear a bump and a crash, call the police, because it'll mean that I'm down the bottom of the cliff somewhere. Anyway, here we are. This is my little vantage point. Check it out. You can see all the way out to Broughton Island, up to Hawk's Nest, Jimmy's Beach, across the vastness of Port Stephens, which incidentally is bigger, much bigger than Sydney Harbour. You got a little beach down there on the point, that's Halifax Park on the point, and you've got Shoal Bay, magnificent Shoal Bay down here. and there's a gentle spring breeze blowing through, making it just a glorious morning experience. Anyway, let's just look at the sunrise and enjoy the glory of this moment. But what I want to chat to you about today is how we do things on automatic pilot. Like last night, I drove up here and I've got no idea how I got here. I just got in the car, pressed the start button, reversed out of the driveway, and 3 hours later I was up here at Nelson Bay. And I remember attending a seminar years ago run by the Pacific Institute, and Lou Tice, the Canadian, was the one who led that seminar. And he talked about habits and how they're formed and how we get to the point in our lives where we just do things on automatic pilot without thinking about it. And he said that can be good, it can be empowering, but it also can be bad and disempowering, depending on whether or not the things that you're doing on automatic pilot are good, productive things or bad things. So let's just pick an example of things that we've done and have become habitual. Say for example, smoking. You sit and think and you look at young people and you wonder, how the hell do young people who are educated smoke in today's environment, in today's world, when we know of all the dangers, we know that the cost is prohibitive, and we know that there are health issues, potentially health issues, that are carried by this bad habit. And this is where Lou Tice and a lot of these world-class sort of presenters talk about, and they introduce a topic called neuro-linguistic programming. And what they say is that if you do something over and over again and you do it with emotion, so for example, the first time you have a cigarette, you do it with your friends and it's exciting, it's risky, it's exciting, so you're at a peak, your senses are peaked for that experience, even though it's a bad experience. When you smoke for the first time, you get a head spin, you may cough, you may feel sick, but because you're doing it with friends and your body chemistry is all heightened up, what happens in the brain is that you form a connection. A connection is formed, like a little track, a little pathway, and then with your mates and everything, you start talking about it. Oh, how cool is that? Or how bad is that? How cool is it? And then you start to build emotion around your habit, which makes that connection, that neural connection, that synapse makes it a little bit deeper. And then you continue smoking, you have a few drinks, then you do it again and again. But every time you smoke, you're doing it in a social environment where you're with other people, and you're gaining immense enjoyment out of it because you're doing it in an environment which is enjoyable, where there's laughter, there's loud music, there's friendships, there's fun, and you've got partners in crime as well doing it with you, which normalise it and make it feel even more comfortable and cool. And this is where Lou Tice starts to talk about the more you do it, the more that little synapse turns into a deeper sort of gully or pathway, or even becomes a highway, because when you do it over and over and over again with strong emotion, with immense pleasures or associated pleasures, not necessarily the pleasure from the cigarette, but the associated pleasures, then it becomes deeper until you create a superhighway connection in your head. So once you've created this superhighway, then of course you'll have a cigarette after sex, or you'll have cigarette when you're upset, and all of a sudden then you start to associate pleasures with smoking. And the more pleasures you associate with smoking, then, as we said before, the neuro-linguistic programming ensures that becomes a very, very deep synapse and pathway in your brain. And once it's etched into your brain, then it's very, very hard to rub out. And what we've learned is that you can't rub out a habit. You can't rub it out, because once that pathway is in your head, and we know through alcoholics, we know through drug addicts, we know through smokers, we know through perpetual social abusers. You know, once you get a thirst for something, in gambling as well, once you get a thirst for something, once you get a thirst for being a bully, or once you get a thirst for being mean, or an abuser of anything, then that synapse, that pathway in your brain is there, etched, and you can't really get rid of it unless you replace it with another habit. So you need to go out of your way, not out of your mind, but out of your way to replace that habit with another habit. And this is where neuro-linguistic programming comes into it, where you need to then do whatever you have to do to replace that bad habit with a good habit. Anyway, let's just turn this around. Hello everybody, here we are, Jim at the 5 a.m. Club. So basically what we're saying is that you need to replace an old bad habit with a new habit through neuro-linguistic programming. So you need to do it over and over and over again, but you need to do it with emotion. You need to create emotion to build that superhighway, to build that synapse, to make sure that that new habit that you've got is fully bedded in your head, and it becomes slowly but surely an automatic response. Anyway, thank you very much for joining me on this beautiful, awesome morning here at Nelson Bay. As you can tell from the 5 a.m. clubs that I do, I am a creature of habit, but what I like to do is to identify aesthetically beautiful places and keep on going back to them. You know, you don't need lots of friends, you don't need lots of places to go, but the friends that you have and the places that you go, you need to really, really love and enjoy, because when you're there, you make the most of it. And that's what it's like here for me up here at Nelson Bay. I will always come to Mount Tomaree for a walk, regardless of whether or not it's raining or not, or it's hot or cold or windy. Regardless, I'll come up here because I know this is my bolt hole, and this is where I just absolutely enjoy starting my day. And especially now that I'm doing the Gym's 5 a.m. clubs, there's no better place to have an awesome, beautiful backdrop like the one I've got here. Oh, and the sun on the skin, that morning sun is just absolutely beautiful. Anyway, let's finish off with a positive affirmation. I'm alive, I am well, and I feel absolutely great. To my friends and family, stay connected, stay relevant, and most importantly, remember to use emotion when you're building habits or trying to replace habits, because the emotion is the most important thing. If you're doing things with passion, that's when you're developing strong pathways in your mind, in your head, and those strong pathways, those super highways, will be your go-to habit. So you can do it. Regardless of what you want to do, you can do it. But you need to know the science behind it. And neuro-linguistic programming is the science which allows you to reprogram your mind and to make the most of what you're doing, and to replace bad habits with good habits, or to make good habits stronger good habits. So there you go. That's Jim from Jim's 5 a.m. Club. Yassas, and bye for now. Take care. Yeah.